Bueno, ¿qué me ha motivado a hacer el camino? No sé exactamente, siempre lo he querido hacer. Llevo unos 12 años diciendo cuando tenga el tiempo lo voy a hacer y no tengo una motivación así como muy clara, aparte de que siempre me había llamado la atención hacerlo. Una de las cosas que me gusta del camino es que, bueno, hay una meta final que es Santiago, pero como lo empecé desde Saint-Jean, pues todos los días había una pequeña meta y no es solamente uno que uno dice, uy, qué fuerte soy que lo estoy haciendo, sino uno se da cuenta que son cientos de personas con las que uno ha caminado desde el comienzo, que todas están teniendo ampollas, que todas están teniendo problemas y muchas paran, muchas continúan, toman descansos, pero todos están haciendo un esfuerzo, entonces es como uno se da cuenta de la fortaleza que uno mismo tiene, pero también la que todos tienen y se crea una solidaridad y un espíritu, digamos, entre todos muy bonito, eh, a, sin importar cuál sea la motivación religiosa, espiritual, lo que sea. Eso es de las cosas que más me ha gustado.
I'll talk about what I've experienced on the Camino. Um, so I think a lot about like trying to be a good person, and in that like trying to give of myself. But on the Camino, I've learned a lot about accepting what other people can give, because I don't like I've come with not as much, not a ton of money, not a lot of experience with hiking and stuff, and the pilgrims and the people in Spain have given so much, and so I've learned to kind of accept that, um, and that's been it's nice to see other what other people can give, and the gifts that they have. When my toe was infected, a lot of people were there to help, and so I learned just kind of like, yeah, I can't do anything about this, but other people can. So it was humbling to accept that. Yeah.
Alors, j'aimerais parler des gens dans le chemin. Avant de faire le chemin, honnêtement, je perdais foi en l'humanité. Et j'ai découvert dans le chemin la bienveillance, l'empathie, la camaraderie et des valeurs qui se perdent vraiment maintenant. Donc, si quelqu'un qui m'écoute désire faire ce chemin, l'expérience est inoubliable. Et vous vous sentirez après comme on devrait se sentir, je pense, dans le monde à présent. Une reconnexion totale et il faut vivre ça. C'était Théo Galera, en direct d'Espagne. Au revoir.
For me, the Camino is about spending time in nature. I've really enjoyed having all day, waking up in the morning and being straight out in the fields, in the sunshine. It's been blissful. I didn't really know what the Camino was before I came, but I've learned since being here that there's a real heartwarming experience with the pilgrims, and not just amongst the pilgrims, that they all support each other and it's like a support unit for them. But the love that you get from the locals has been really nice to experience as well, and it gives you a whole new faith in humanity moving forward, I suppose, for myself.
Camino a fost pentru mine o experiență foarte intensă, cu multe întâmplări frumoase, întâmplări care m-au ajutat să mă cunosc mai bine și m-au făcut să-mi depășesc limitele. Mi-amintesc într-o noapte când am ajuns într-un sat și nu aveam loc de cazare și a trebuit să dormim afară. Și mi-amintesc altă noapte când am stat cu toți prietenii împreună și am gătit și am mâncat și am băut vin și ne-am bucurat de prezența celorlalți. Și cred că cel mai mare dar al acestui drum e faptul că te descoperi pe tine. Pe tine așa autentic cum ești tu în mijlocul naturii, înconjurat de oameni, poți să-ți asculți gândurile, poți să închizi ochii și să vezi în fața ta doar o întindere de mult, mult verde. Și atât.
Hello, I'm Greta from Australia. I'm here on the Camino. I did the Japanese Kumano Kodo Trail and I found out that the Camino was a dual pilgrimage. So I wanted to come and do the Camino, and then I would be a dual pilgrim. My mum died 12 years ago, so I wanted to walk it for her because she would have loved it. So that is why I'm doing the Camino. I'm with my daughter Darcy, who's 18, and she's having sort of a great time with her mum, but I think she'd rather be here by herself. But anyway, we're having a good time together.
The biggest reason was I have a bit of a weak body. I have chronic back pain. I've had it since I was 12. And then I have nerve damage to my stomach, and I've had that for a year and a half. And I was very ashamed. I had to go to a psychologist for pain management. And I was very ashamed of I felt really weak. So this was a big thing because I had to prove to myself that I could do this. And I knew I have been physically strong most of my life, but the pain and the sickness took a lot of things away from me. So this was definitely proving to myself that I am strong enough to force my way through these things. Yeah, it was definitely more a personal journey than anything. I did at the start say I was just doing it because Mum asked me to, but it was more definitely.
For me, at first I thought it was going to be nothing. I thought I was doing it for an adventure. But as I walked and had a big time alone, I realized it was a lot about mental clarity and coming to terms with a lot of things internally. I've had a lot of things going on recently with like family and myself, like yeah, I don't know, I just internal battles. I guess I had to start accepting myself a little bit more. Jack has been one to say a lot of times I talk a lot about my appearance and just loving yourself a little bit more. Stop worrying so much about what I'm eating all the time, how I look, how other people are perceiving me. Fully enjoying a moment as well. I find a lot of the time I'm so concentrated on being around people and having all these fun moments that I forget to really be in the moment when I'm with the people. This whole journey is like, if you don't stop and look around, you're gonna miss it like so easily. So I don't know, it's been really good. Like at the start of the Camino, Jack and I met and we kept saying like, remember to look up, because we kept all walking with our head down and then there's a mountain right next to you and we were missing it. And I think the Camino is like a huge metaphor for life. Just like, don't let it pass you by, basically.
저는 진로를 어렸을 때부터 정했었는데 배우가 되고 싶어서 한 4년 동안 되게 많이 열심히 했었어요. 근데 할수록 너무 힘들고 내가 이거를 계속 할 수 있을까 싶어서 많이 고민이 돼가지고 여기에 와서 걸으면서 어떻게 할지 진로를 정해보고 싶었는데 걷다 보니까 그냥 현실에서 도망친 것 같고 그래가지고 지금은 마음이 정리가 많이 된 것 같아서 너무 좋아요.
Pues creo que el camino es sobre las personas que te encuentras aquí. Más que un camino religioso o una peregrinación, es una manera de conectar con el mundo y de conectar con toda la gente distinta que hay, que es lo bonito, que es como una torre de Babel, al final está todo el mundo aquí metido. Y a través de la gente y de las diferentes culturas también aprendes a ver distintas partes de ti que igual no sabías que tenías. Entonces, es una manera bonita de conocerte a ti y de conocer un poco más el mundo a tu alrededor y de salir un poco de esa burbuja, yo creo.
Okay, well,
Before I started the Camino, people were often giving me advice and telling me what I'm likely to experience and saying it's going to be a spiritual thing and it's also going to be this whole lonely journey of walking solo and discovering some inner and global understanding and um, and then there were these other people who would just say, oh, that's kind of bullshit, and there's no right way to do the Camino, and I like that advice better, and so I've just kind of had in the back of my head, there's no right way to do the Camino, and there's definitely a lot more people than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be more of a solo journey, and so I've been kind of dealing with how to balance that in myself and finding that, when I reach for the solo-ness of it, I end up missing people, which is another sort of challenge of the Camino as well. And so I've just kind of had a mantra in the back of my head, like, I walk this Camino alone, I walk this Camino alone. And that's really helped me because it allows me to be with people when I need to be with people and not be with people when I don't need to be with people. And either way, you're still walking the Camino alone and there's no right way to do the Camino. So I've just kind of been going with that and it's been good. So.
I don't know, I guess in Ireland, so many people know about the Camino. Like, everybody knows somebody who's done the Camino. It's so popular. So when I heard about it, like, years ago, I always wanted to do it. So here I am. I guess I just like walking in good weather, meeting people, spending some like good time by myself as well. You meet so many people, but you also get some good alone time and the countryside in nature. It's amazing to be out here, and it's as good as everybody said it was, so it's good to be here.
No, okay.
Molte sono le cose che mi piacciono del cammino. Il cammino ha tante ragioni di natura storica, la stessa fatica, i luoghi che si vedono, la compagnia, anche le persone che si trovano, che cambiano di volta in volta. E la cosa più bella è che quando il cammino si fa più di una volta, ogni volta è un'esperienza diversa. Poi è bello farlo insieme a persone vicine. Di solito lo si fa per ragioni perché ci sono dei problemi e il cammino aiuta molto a risolverli. Ok, io credo che sia sufficiente. Ok?
Perfect. I think